How many of you like to play the game of softball? Well, whether you do or you don't, after hearing this speech today, you will have a chance to learn more about the game itself. I am no expert, but I have been playing for some odd 15 years now, so I know enough to share with you some of the components of the game. Today, I will tell you all about the great game called softball. I will tell you about the equipment needed to play the sport, some of the terminology used for batting, and finally, I will show you the mechanics of a throw. Here I will discuss the basic pieces of equipment to play softball. The three basic pieces of equipment to play softball are the ball, the bat, and a mitt, or better known as a glove. These are just the three basic things that you're going to need to play softball. Depending on which position you play, you will need more, but to be a basic player in softball, these are just the things that you will need. Depending on when you play also, or where you play, depends on what kind of equipment you need. Such as if you were playing on a turf field, some players can play with cleats, tennis shoes, or turf shoes. These are all optional. Or if we played on a dirt field, you could play with tennis shoes or cleats. So just being in your regular tennis shoes, you'll do just fine playing softball. It also depends on which position you play. For being a pitcher, most pitchers prefer to wear a face shield because they could get a line drive up the middle and you do not want to feel that pain. Or if you're a catcher, you're going to need more padding, you're going to need your chest protector, and you're going to need your catching helmet. And this is just the basic things that you're going to need to play softball. And now that I've told you the basic equipment to play softball, I will discuss the most important terminology used in looking at your stats. In this point, I will discuss some of the most important terminology when looking at your statistics in softball. Here's a little small sheet that our coach made up for us at the beginning of the season of our first game. So this is all the players that we have hitting at the moment. These are our at-bats, A, B, our hits here, and then our averages. Our average is calculated between hits and at-bats. So if we look at Grayson right here, she had 2 at-bats and she had 1 hit, so she's batting .500, so like 50%. And then we also keep track of our errors, just to see how many errors we have per game. This weekend we had 15 errors, which is quite a lot for 4 games, but it was also our first weekend. We keep track of things like that to look at our tendencies throughout the season, and it gives us a good look at what we can do better, what players we can move to certain positions to make adjustments to make the team better. It also helps us with our batting order, if we can change the players up a little bit, if we can get some more bats lined up together. It also helps other coaches see us and make us look more presentable to other colleges if we're going to move on from the junior college aspect. And it also gives us a chance to look at other players from other teams to see what their tendencies are and where we can take players out more in certain pitches and things like that. Now that I have discussed some of the most important terminologies used in softball, I'll move on to the throwing demo. Now that I have told you about the terminology needed to look at your statistics in softball, I will show you the proper way how to throw a softball. So first you want to start with a good grip, which means that you want to be on the laces, which are these red things. This is an NJCAA ball, so the laces are raised a little bit, when some balls will be smooth with it, but they still have the laces, which doesn't make sense really to grip. But anyways, you want to have all 4 of your fingers on the laces if you have a smaller hand. For me, I have a bigger hand, so I throw a 2.5. So I have the 2 here, and then the 1's just kind of for support because I can't throw just a 2. You can throw with a 3, a 3.5, or a 4, and then you also want to have your thumb on here as well. And this prevents you from slipping out of the ball, especially if it's raining and it gets on the grass. Gripping the laces helps you throw the ball farther and you won't lose it. So to start, just a regular ground ball is how you throw it. You're going to gather at your stomach, come to a scarecrow kind of stance, as like this. You're going to come up, you're going to put this arm out, you're going to put this one back, okay, at a 90-degree angle, and you're going to cock your wrist. So here we're here, and you're going to pull your glove hand forward, put your elbow out, so from this angle be like this. So you're throwing your elbow out, you're going to come through, extend your arm, flick your wrist, and come through and finish. You want to pull like this because this action is making more force, so you can throw the ball harder and farther, and that's pretty much the goal of throwing a softball. So here's where I showed you the different ways to hold a softball and how to throw it. Today I told you about the game of softball. I told you about the equipment, some of the terminology that we use when we look at our statistics, and the different ways to grip a ball and how to throw it properly. Now I hope that you know a little bit more about the game of softball.